0 to 60. All right, sorry, I was getting my TikTok stream up. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. So let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly brush over the news. Jobless claims are out. Let's see, what was the um, all right, so we've got as far as data is concerned, jobless claims came in today, and oof, damn. So definitely lower. And how are futures responding to that? Good morning, everybody. Music is a little too loud, my bad. All right, there we go. All right, so let's take a look. And we're still sitting up inside of that megaphone. All right, well, let's go ahead and go over those headlines really quick. So Wall Street futures did edge a little bit higher as Federal Reserve Chair Powell said that the U.S. Central Bank is strongly committed to bringing down inflation. European shares dropped after a survey showed Eurozone's business activity slowed significantly in June, adding fears to the sharp economic downturn. Chinese stocks rose for a near 4-month closing high. Hong Kong shares benchmarks gained. Gold prices fell, weighed down by a stronger dollar. Oil prices tumbled as investors reassessed the risk of recession. And U.S. weekly jobless claims and data has obviously dropped. June's S&P manufacturing service flash crash PMI data have also come out. Or never mind, those come out at 9:45 Eastern time. So, someone, oh my God. I'm definitely on the front page right now. I did have a good vacation. I did. My internal clock is a little messed up right now. Um, so I'm feeling a little groggy right now, but um, yeah, definitely sweet. I enjoyed myself. My kids had a blast, which was dope. So, I am looking at SPY right now. Alrighty, so U.S. recession fears have darkened the outlook for global growth. Manufacturing growth is slowing in Asia and in Europe as China's COVID-19 curbs and Russia's invasion of Ukraine disrupts supply chains, while the growing risk of a recession in the United States poses a new threat to the global economy. Independent review urges updates to FFA risk reports after Boeing 737 MAX crashes. Let's see. It's not even really worth going over. That's an entire paragraph. Oh my God. Tesla, bro. Alrighty, so that's it as far as the headlines are concerned. I talked about this last night. I'm gonna go over SPY, and obviously you guys know the deal. I'm watching Meta. I do have something on my watch list, and I'm gonna take one more stab at it. Lee Auto. I don't know what this thing is up 100%. Hear me. In a bear market, this thing is up 100% since my birthday, which is May 18th. But 100%. It is right around its COVID or the EV rips highs. I'm dumbfounded. And at some point, this thing, I mean, with the gap that it has now, we have seen it hold its gaps, but I will be watching for this thing to slam back into this, what now looks like it's going to be supply, which is 3760. But I'm especially going to be doing this today, is doing some digging on, what exactly is going on here. So, but as far as just technicals are concerned, this thing is way overbought in a bear market, and way past supply on a gap up, which is again at 38.87, and we're all the way down here. You could even say as far as 37 even, and that's probably more of an agreeable price. So, all right, hold on. Hotkeys, yes. One second, my cat's yelling at me. There you go outside. My bad. All right. Batman's computer. Yes, sir. Alrighty, so Lee Auto, Meta, Meta hourly time frame. We talked about this yesterday. We've got a little position here that we're set up for. Anywhere below this bottom trend line or the 154.23 mark, I'm going to venture to guess that we will hit our target of 150, 150, and more than likely we will tap 150 or near there. So that's what we're looking for to the downside. It's pretty much that simple. If we did end up moving to the upside, it's pretty clear. We have a little supply zone, 157.87, the top of that right here. Again, 157.87. Take a look. When you drop a line, right here. This is how we find our levels. How many more wicks do you need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is essentially where things can really move to the upside if by some chance we did end up seeing that today. One thing that we do need to keep in mind, it's probably the most important thing that you can have in the back of your mind today, is that Powell talks at 10. So the markets, where they're at is where they could stay. So if Meta ends up moving to the downside, I have a 154.60 target, and I don't think that it will flush all the way through. That's just what I think. If it does, I will obviously react accordingly. Who cares what I think? We only make money by reacting to the market. So, my little brain cannot comprehend the sorcery. Not with that attitude. Oh God, I didn't mean, sorry. That's how we deal with negative Nancy's over here. You'll never say that again. I actually didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Is everybody okay? Sorry. And there's Brandy Butternut getting knocked out. Anyway, so let's take a look at Spy. Um, So we got the megaphone. I've talked about this before. It's just kept me up at night, wondering whether this thing is going to scream to the upside. And by scream, it's still obviously not, a full recovery. It's literally just going to be a retest. So let's go to the 4 hour really quickly so you kind of see what I'm saying. So this is where we're at. All right. This is Spy's trend line. And really, we're not worried about what's going on up there. We're more or less concerned that we're here. And we're hovering around it. So we're not seeing definitive bounces. We're seeing a lot of indecision. But oftentimes before your biggest drops, and you can go look at this on SPY going back, before your biggest drops, you see these pumps. They don't always open up with megaphones, but in this case, this is a super respectable, I've double checked on multiple different time frames, but of course, patterns are only patterns and levels obviously matter. So 379 and 380 even. It's pretty much that simple. Candle close, bullish candle close, not just a little tiny doji candle or a hammer candle, but a definitive candle. We know what that looks like. Something like that, something like this, something that's going to engulf and show that buyers are present here, and we can push up and retest these three. I have marked 387 even. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces off this one support. That is our nearest resistance, and also there is the confluence of 387.30. What do you think of GTPI? Polestar merger approved. Ticker change. Keep making up stuff. I mean, that's one way to say that you don't understand anything I'm saying. But have a good day. Easy with the block. Look at that. Oh, okay. One more button. I see you, dude. All right. So again, patterns only patterns levels to the downside for SPY 371.67 and 370. Below that 370 mark, we will be at or around support. I imagine that 10 o'clock could be a defining factor in how we move. So I will be patient today in taking position sizes, definitive position sizes. So I don't want to answer. I don't want to tell you that you shouldn't contribute to an employee's 401k. That's not my like expert. That's not something that I am doing or have done or was relatively interested in. I mean, it's probably not. I'm just not the guy to advise you on that. I would definitely go look for one of those like iFinancial guys, but yeah, it's never been of interest to me. So. That is all. That also flirts with the line of financial advice, which we're not doing. Lee is at a super key level. Say it again, holy cannoli. Can we have just a gap, just one gap, piece? All right. All right. Cool. Gotcha. Yeah, no problem. So 10 o'clock. Do you golf? No, I don't. Not yet. Top Chef's gonna teach me how to golf. I have, but not recently. But anyway, top watches Google. I've been slaying it lately. Stick to what works, man. You see how we do with Meta. So, are futures red? No, futures are slightly up. But there's nothing. So this is, and you guys, obviously, those of you in the Discord and stuff like that, you guys know what I'm not obviously first and foremost a scalper. If I see the opportunity clearly, obviously that's something that I'll take into account. But in this instance, we're so close to resistance, and this gap is pretty far away that I would, and with the news that we're going to be, or really pal talking, I don't want to take a bold position without a bold move here. So, excuse me. Am I watching Tesla today? No, I am not. I did. Right now, it's probably going to go and retest. I would look at the 71765. There's a possible retest there, but no, I'm not watching Tesla today. My watch list today is Meta right here with an hourly falling wedge near support. Could fall through and hit 180. I think there would probably end up being some sort like. Let me reiterate that. I am very certain that there's going to be a bounce on Meta. Meta is not only close to, but pretty much on a support level, and it can go farther. We know this. Wicks exist, but Meta's support level is at and around 150, and you can see that going all the way back to May of 2000. It's funny, May right around May 18th, but May of 2017. Let's see, March of 2018. We revisited this area in October of that same year. March 2020, that's where we dropped, and that is right where we have fell right back down as of right now. And so, just on a technical level, I mean, this stock breaking this, guys, is I'm still, mark my words, pun intended. If things on social media continue to get worse as far as user count and the metaverse, I'm sorry, I just don't see it being an extremely profitable endeavor from them. At least not now in their current form. It's costing them more money than it's making, and I really think that they shot themselves in the foot. TikTok has bitch slapped them all across ad revenue platforms. So, excuse my language, but that's just the way it is. So, anyway, Uh, oh, here, dude, you relate to the most. Uh, I don't know. Microsoft looking good on the 15-minute. Yeah, I can. Let's see, what time is it? 9:03. I'm trying to read. He's guessing. LOL. Don't waste your money. I love these comments. Are you talking to me? I'm not investing in the stock market at the moment as far as like long-term investments. The market's in a downtrend. Why would I? When someone says buy when it's ugly, like ugly is like, I mean, looking back even at the on uh, uptrends, when there was a lot of indecision and a lot of fear, stocks look like that, right? Right when they look like they're going to just absolutely dump, and that's when you see a lot of people accumulating shares. And you're still in an uptrend. You're still moving to the upside, but we have, and there's no more question about it. We have and are in a bear market and are moving to the downside. So our trend lines that we're moving up support making higher lows. Um, Obviously has changed, and we're making lower lows. So, and that's on the daily. So there's been a lot of major trend changes. So, um, the 5 minute chart. So on Meta, it has a falling wedge right now. And currently, I have a cheap little swing on it, but we're watching for a move down to that 154.60, 154.30. I'll be looking for a bounce there. So I do and am anticipating a possible move to the downside here first. But once we would I would need to see a definitive, like, maybe possibly even hourly candle close, because while we're in this little trend, um, I want to wait for a break. So yeah, I would say that, if I guess, maybe that it's not true, because when I look at, like, right now, I mean, certain analysts think that the stock market could fall, even further. I'm not one to spread fear. I don't want the market to, like, completely crumble, because that obviously reflects on our well, it's not a reflection of the economy, but that's how they do it. So things would probably be pretty bad if we fell, as far as some of these analysts are talking. But until things just change on a technical basis, it's easy for me to just, obviously, not. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry, package. So anyway, so like, where just to boil that down, where I'm placing my investments, I could be putting them in longer positions to the downside. Put option contracts to the downside, leaps that way, where I'm looking at major supply and demand, and picking targets from there. So, anyway, that's it.
Morning.
Hello. What's
Sorry,
up?
bro.
Sorry. What you sorry for? Oh, I thought you said sorry. You were trading.
Everything that overnight and nothing happened.
I know, pretty much just staying in the same range. But that's because Papa Pals.
I just watch it. There's only one setup that looks decent on a daily, and that's Meta. Everything else is like doodle.
Yes.
Because I mean, like the daily candles are just stuck in range for the good time. But then the issue with Meta is that it looks like it's building a bear flag. If you look at the hourly, gold is going to 1838. Dynasty 1838 is going to 1830. Like it's literally like 20 handles away from that. It's going to 1838.
Are you talking about this, Manny?
I have it the other way. No, dude, why is your extended time off?
Because when I'm charting on higher time frames, I don't use, and I mean, it's still the same thing. In
All
fact,
right.
I do see. Okay, I see what you're saying now with
You
extended
see,
out.
you see a handle, which is Monday's drop, Tuesday. The entry was 1828. Dynasty. Go peep it. Draw a line on the 15th at 1828.42. No, just look at the 730 fucking pin bar. And gold is building hard.
I see a pullback on Meta anyway without extended hours times. I was looking right now. We're gapping up for a retest of 156.50. Gap fill to the downside, and I have support around 154.65 and 154.30.
I'm gonna watch Meta Drugs, and it's the only again stock that has a new low being put in, so selling pressure should remain. Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, Powell's on at 10. I think today is not a risk day, more of a day where you watch, and if you see a trade, you know, you get in. You don't hold it for your life. Today Thursday, so 1 BT. Oh god.
I will be trading next week, so going to Meta is going lower, going to 100 or lower in the next 3 to 6 months.
I think sooner. I think a little sooner than that.
I think Meta to $80 to $75.
That's gonna be interesting. I mean, Meta's 5 year chart just broke even.
Crazy.
I have the 150s and the 155s. I'm gonna save the 152.50s. Okay. You know what looks mildly decent, but the liquidity on the stock is horrible.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I can't do that one.
no, I'm not gonna. That in Google or just to me.
I've gotten I've gotten lucky on shop, and obviously I've taken some good plays, but the spreads are just fucking
Wonky.
not for me. All right, so Lee Auto.
Things look interesting on Tesla too. If we lose 700, we're gonna build down. If we don't, we're gonna bounce.
I would say with Lee Auto, if you're watching Lee, because I'm going to keep my eye on it today, watch for it to possibly tap 40 first. It might, I mean, it may end up going and hitting 40. I will short Lee at 40. I'm sorry. There's Manny. This
Yeah.
stock is up 100% since May. What?
Why?
What? Lee Auto.
Why?
I don't know. I can't.
Why are they doing?
I don't know. They must be building EV tanks, and I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. It like blows my mind. I've been staring at. I've been looking. I mean, let's see.
That's it.
I'm gonna.
2,000 of the new cars.
Huh?
They sold 2,000 of the new cars. I'm literally holding. I just realized I'm holding my hands like Trump does when he's like, "That's it." But that's it. That's enough to cover like double in market cap.
I'm looking at like news headlines on Lee right now, and this has got to be the biggest. This one must be going to zero, dude.
That's crazy. crazy. That has to be like something, dude. Because what is that?
It's in a bull market. Why itself?
Okay, how does that sound? The only stock that is basically having a bull run is a Chinese EV company. It's like 2021 all over again.
This is my
That's no way, no.
absolutely bonkers. Yeah, if it taps 40, oh my god.
By the way, guys, I haven't been writing that morning analysis because there's nothing to write about. Just heads up, there's nothing to write about. Like when I had message, like there's nothing to write about. I was like, I won't say more.
Look at margins for this company.
Oh,
Um, Liato, someone's saying to look at the
the Powell does look bad. If you compare him to like other like car like testimonies or something, he looks older. This guy's aging very fast. And I would be too with the stress that I would have as my chair.
mm-hmm.
All you have to do is just run this thing. Just finish running it. Pull the plug, hike it by 1%, see how the market reacts, then them that off, and then that's it. Once everything is settled, quite easy again.
Just do it again.
Yeah, they're going to do it again. The resemblance from this crash to the dot-com bubble is scary how similar they are. But it's the crash came from like crypto and then obviously inflation. So the crash of 2022, which is inflation, happening. It's not crashing, it's slow going down. Bro, I promise you, if we're ever anywhere and Charlie's there, like if by any chance, bro. Oh yeah, I'm Charlie from Benzinga. I'm gonna keep the case. You're gonna vote me out, but I'm gonna backslap this shit out of that guy.
Oh my god. He's so rude.
Hey, trading with matters.
Yeah. Trading with manners. Dude, look at this hyper realistic gummy. Right.
Why is BBIG? Because it's a beam side. Yo, yeah, me and Gary didn't take any pictures side by side here to see how short I am.
We didn't?
I think I have one that it was like from the side. You can't see the side difference that well.
Alright. Alright, y'all. Well, you guys got my watch list. This is all of what I'm watching. I got Lee Auto, Meta, and that's it.
So they asked for taxes to be cut off on gas and water from groceries. And what is that? Dear God, we have fallen so low. I'm sorry, but I'm a little slow today. This is what happens when I trade in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Lee Auto is up with a 6% gas, so.
I need some Tito's.
Oh, Tito's. Yeah.
Huh? No, I didn't. I was just watching. Oh, sorry, I have somebody here next to me.
No, so
If somebody can find me a full bar candle on a daily, please send this ticker my way. Sorry, Gary.
no, you're fine. So here's the deal with Meta, y'all. I first of all, this has actually held a divergent. Anytime that Q's fell, like Meta bled out, and it seems like it's rushing down to 150. I don't know if that's the reload zone, but it's either and we talked about the falling wedge. It's got this hourly falling wedge. Manny sees a bear flag too as well on obviously zoomed in a little bit further. I can see it too there and with extended hour data on. Um, oh weird. I think it's goofy looking, dude. Hold on one second. It's kind of set up a little bit further since we were on. Oh, here, Manny. That's bilateral now. But I have a target to the downside regardless. Around this, oops, there it is. Around this 151.35. If we do end up moving to the downside, and breaking out of this, pull this back up. So moving anywhere below 154.32. That's the mark that I have. Sorry, I got a lot of messages coming in right now for some reason. Um, Gush. Why do you like to trade Gush?
Like Dogecoin?
No, Gush. Gush is
Oh,
Drexcion.
I was like, we're, we're still doing that?
I've played Gush before. I was just looking at it a minute ago. It's currently at a pretty big support, 136.50. It's got a gap to fill below it, 132.60. And then the nearest supply is around 121.30. So, real quick, I did forget to mention. I think I got like I literally have to in I live in the like hospital district in my town, so it's literally 3 blocks away. There's the office I'm about to go, and literally just go fill out some paperwork. So that's gonna be right 11:30. So that's about when I get off anyway. But if by chance I'm still trading, I do got to run over there and do that, which I wouldn't have to do if I would have done it right the first time. All right, so let me clarify the mood here. Meta hasn't made the move that I want it to make for me to take longer expiration spread like like if we do see this falling wedge move to the upside, I will target resistance. If we see it break to the downside, I'm going to day trade down to 150 and then we'll talk shop because below 150, I shit's gonna get weird. So. Oh, you have Gush, and I don't know if it's better to sell. Uh, yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't really obviously advise you on that, but there's always something you can do as far as hedging yourself or um, using options if you're in options as well. But I mean, that's just the technical setup. So Dow will drop to 19K. Yeah. Can I look at CLX? Sure. Large correction needed. I mean, kind of seen a pretty. So we're past COVID, the COVID dump, right, Manny? I'm like this. It's like it's happened, but it's happened so slowly that Manny might have. Went to go put on some Bad Bunny.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm just explaining Tesla liquidity real quick. Hello. Yeah. Mom. Uncle.
Yes, sorry. Hold on. I'm getting like bombarded with text messages right now. I don't who nobody ever texts me.
So look. Well, if you guys want to hear this, well, I'll explain this. The what I'm explaining is the 950 candle on Tesla. So you see that wick, how the wick basically hit 729, right? The same person that was selling there, right, was the same person that was buying here at that wick of 950 at 711, right? He sold here, right? He made that wall. Well, Tesla dropped, right? Look at the wicks. Again, same person, whatever. I just use same person because this is going to explain. That same person that shorted there was sitting on the bids to buy here. You got me? Because he's not gonna buy here, right? He has no reason to give the breakout. He'd rather hold the bid than take the breakout, especially in the market that we're in. So he bought here, and then he caused that push. Yeah, and by this level, pretty much everybody started dumping their positions. You got me? There's always those people that miss the trade. They try to bounce
No,
and this and that, and then they still get dumped back.
we're not at COVID lows. I'm talking about the percentage dump. From like if you line up this pullback from the highs and COVID's pullback from the highs, we have fallen further. I'm not talking about like obviously, yeah. Sorry, Manny.
Oh, you're good. Hey, Dynasty, 1838 target hit on gold. I'm always like, I didn't trade gold. Why did you trade it? I'm like, here's my P&L used to trade with gold. That's why.
Oh no.
I love gold, but the issue with gold is you size up and you make money for 3, 4 days, and then one day gold decides to be more manipulated than normal, and then you're still with this surprise you get crap on. Because
And
gold is not something like stocks that you can see the news and see how it's going to react. Gold is just gold. And the manipulation of gold is absolutely ridiculous due to Russia's giant stockpile they stole from Venezuela. Well, they didn't steal. They didn't steal. Let me take that back. They were given.
hey, with Clorox, dude, whoever, oh yeah, Daddy's tiny feet. So it's pretty much in that sweet channel. I have it up. I have it up at its resistance. So and really, it's going to be the 135.50. So 135.50 above that, 139 and 142.75. So
They also stole black gold as well. You know what I mean?
that's facts. Um, I am mad hungry right now. Dude, that buffet, bro.
No way. You're hungry right now?
Yeah. Told you since this trip, bro, I've been starving. My body, like, I hit my monthly exercise goal in 2 days.
I was able to calm that pain that I had. It was kind of a massage about it.
Nice. Nice.
Chiropractor wanted to turn me arm and leg. I was like, no, bro, I need my leg. Come on.
I was about to get a massage, but was like, damn, dude, I could just wait till I go back home.
It's bro.
Yeah, just go back home, dude. Like,
Oh, man.
I walked in the room and just paid it $7.50 for a drink of water. I was like, God damn, what have I done? It was lit though.
But aside from that, gold is awesome, and I will always recommend anybody that wants to learn to trade something. Like if you're starting from zero, I think gold would be a good place to start because it will teach you patience. It will teach you to wait for your entry, right, and trust your levels. And then it'll teach you that if you get coffee, you're gonna lose all your money. It's like the perfect trifecta. Unlike Tesla just takes all your money. Like I would rather be wrong in gold than Tesla. That's a fact, dude. Being wrong in Tesla hurts, bro.
Guys, I do try to do most of the chart. Guys, 2 minutes before the bell. For me, I gotta like I'm focusing in on the movement I see in after hours or pre-market. So like when I go in, like I'm not as we get closer to the bell, charting other people's stocks kind of can mix me up a little bit. So happy, always happy to take a look at it, even just in a little bit. Once the market either settles or picks a direction, or I'm out of a position, but or after hours, always. So I gotta quit with Uber Eats, dude. But in the South, it's so bad because there's actually some pretty good food, biscuits and gravy. I'm not to say it's bad food other places, just
Thoughts on Lee clicks. So here's the thing. My take on Lee is pretty simple. And if you guys want, oh, it's a minute. At 40 seconds. Look at Lee's daily whenever you guys can, right? Draw a little structure. I'll send it real quick because I'm the other. I'm not just gonna. Yeah. Here's what I think of Lee. You guys take that information and react how you want, but just look at the daily chart, right?
it's got to go. It's got.
Remember, the macro is king.
I will let it touch 40, too, because you
There
can
you
see
go.
it's like right there. If it touches, if it even thinks about 40.
All right, guys, ding, ding, ding. Party started.
All right, it's that initial move to off the 9. Thinking we're gonna see that move on meta to 146.65 here. So you can cut the calls if you have them from yesterday.
Oh shit, Reynolds S1 is right there, almost close to pre-market low.
I straddled
It's
it.
gonna, it's gonna be like a dollar. All right, Metal pre-market dollar here.
There it is. Remember, we're too close. It's too close to support. I'm not scalping. So if you're following me, or if you're following Manny, you gotta know the difference. So what was that off of? 155. Let the thing close. Let's see. 1 minute and 57 seconds for this candle to close. They're pushing right back down. There goes Lee Auto. 39.56. Yep, heading for 40. What? All right, remember what I talked about? Look, there's nothing here, guys. Pal's talking. We got a small micro gap below us. We've got nothing really above us. 285. Huh?
He's talking on the side.
10. Yeah, what did I just say?
He's talking.
Yeah, there it is. Right there. Q's going for that gap fill. And then look, we're right at support, guys. So I'm probably gonna, man, dude, look at the buyers picking up every single time, make a new low.
Yeah, bro. The figures are fucking horrible.
Yeah. Let's see here. It's building.
Damn, dude, I got squeezed out of that hard, bro. I just dubbed my position. That was painful.
It's not. It hasn't closed above 156.65 for me, and then I'm watching 156.95. 5-minute candle close. We got 1 minute and 42 seconds. And if we can close this candle below 140, there we go. At 156, just right around there. Right below there, excuse me, 156. But again, we're right near support, right where we were anticipating a bounce, but not quite. So if we're seeing a little bit of fight here, it obviously makes sense. So yeah, Lee does look weak. I'm waiting on Lee. Look at the cues too. There's nothing. Yeah, it's trading view. Look at this madness. AMD looks like hot garbage.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. 30 seconds left for this candle to close. That's what I need. Mine. All right, so it looks like buyers are holding that 155.50. Crazy. So if you don't want to, we swung a contract to the downside, guys. This is going to tear your contract up. It's not going to do you any favors. So if you're up on IV or if you see this thing push to the downside, I'm going to go ahead and vacate that contract. It's one, and we talked about, there it is right there. And now, so have we bounced? So no new positions, just watching to see. And then look at that. Look where we just retested 156.90. Above that, you've got another retest level 156.56. 157.56, excuse me. But again, I just want to reiterate, I haven't taken any new positions. Nothing's happened yet. So we're literally at support. So if it's acting funky or not trading super liquid like this, that's why. So here, I posted that in the chat so you guys can take a look at that. We're near that 500 HMA as well, so. What did Meta? Okay, so Lee Auto tapped 39.88. Is that enough? Let me go look at something here. You know what? Listen, y'all, this is off of I'm technically shorting something in an uptrend. So it's probably a far more high probability play somewhere else if you're risk adverse. But just on my own thesis, right, with the money that I have to burn, I guess if you will, like and I wouldn't even call this gambling, but more of a leg into another speculative entry that could definitely not go well. So I'm gonna grab while they're a little bit cheap, the $36 puts for June 8th or July 8th, excuse me. It's only $15 away, but I'm only gonna grab like 2 or 3 of those. $124. So July 8th, $36 puts. And again, speculative. I wouldn't go crazy on this. Okay. There's that stupid price action on Meta. If anybody has those puts, 154.50, 154.50, 35. That is not something that is easy to look through or read through. That's why just setting that resistance and that bottom. So if you're in those weeklies, again, your contract cannot handle it. Don't hope for more if you didn't have a target. I have no targets underneath. I will take a position if you see a definitive candle close below 154.40. Period. End of story. The Qs below 280.24 would likely pull you down to 278.65. So yes, and I am in a lighter position for my account on Lee Auto. All right, there's a Meta target hit right there. Is anybody in Meta? Um, I'm not going to look for the contract. I mean, I can take a look at them, but until we need to close down here, 153, or 154 even. Candle close there would be nice, and that would be a pattern break. Otherwise, I am suspecting that we will bounce here, possibly. So, on your toes. So the same resistance that we were just paying attention to, 156.80, that's where I want to see this move to the upside. So 157. Just got out of the Meta Weeklies. Nice. Okay. Well, that's it. Target hit out. So weekly contracts, if you don't like, you've hit support. It's just that simple, and we bounce off of support. If we break support, that's all good and well. I don't short support. I would rather, at this point, I have a pretty sweet target on Meta right around 150, 120. So there's definitely room to the downside, and I'd be happy to do so. But we need to see the Qs continue. It looks like on the 15-minute, we've got an engulfment to push past that point of control. So it does look below that 280 mark. You will go back down to 278.65. So, which will lead, I would venture to guess, would lead you down to 275.20, which is the gap fill on the Qs, which would then give us that Meta push down to 151. So, but until that happens, I've got nothing, because just as easily as this move down and gap filled, did you just see that? Right as I said it, it will bounce and go and close back up above that 50% mark, reverse and break out, or reverse and move to the upside. So there it is. I hope you guys, instead of being somebody who waits for the green candle, you just take profit knowing that it's hit your target. But there it is. Now, I want you to know that Lee Auto is entirely capable of going and hitting $40 if it doesn't show any signs of weakness, guys. If it gets above 40, I would actually probably say that it's a bet. If it starts closing higher time frame candles above that 40 mark, that's the point where I'm actually going to look at a longer expiration put, because obviously there could be a little bit more volatility. Yeah, so I would rather cut them for a small loss and then, maybe wait to see a little bit of weakness and get something with a better expiration, or just go ahead and grab something with a better expiration. But and again, if you're playing this, you could use weeklies, next week's contracts, if you have, and obviously trust yourself to do so. And I think you guys know if you do. But that would be a gap fill down to 36.89. So you're more than welcome. It doesn't look like a terrible small account. Wait, did I? Is Meta a bounce? That's what I'm looking for, right? So here, let's zoom in and I'll show you what I'm looking at, right? It might end up doing something before I can even show you, but here, see that 155.60? And then this top, get back in there, right? 9-day moving average sitting right there, get back in there. You've got the 50% mark. So it looks like that's 156.20. So back up into that level, and then that's right now nothing, right? So here's where we know that we can wait and watch and be patient. You can take it. There's obviously traders who take bounces. I don't do that. I don't take bounce trades. Hardly ever do I ever take a bounce trade unless like the market is just arid and dry, no plays, available. So like this is sweet, nice bounce. Somebody could take a position here off of that bounce, but then at the same time, if you take it early, then you have the option, and it's a little bit easier to negotiate. But if you're not in, it's just better to wait and get a definitive move. And again, I'm watching the 3 minute right now, when realistically the 15 minute, right? I'm really, I want to see what happens with these 15 minute higher time frame candle closes. So yeah, so if I take a position, especially with like Li Auto and stuff like that, I definitely am picking it for a reason. I'm going out with time. I didn't grab a weekly for a reason, because I know that I'll lose money on it, on Li Auto. Because right now it's in that uptrend and it still hasn't touched 40. And it's just a little bit, I mean, it could even go to, $40.05. I can go back right now, and we can go back to the only time that it's been trading up at this level. 39.88, 40.30. Let's go to the 4. That's 39.50. 40.88 and 40.35. 40.30, sorry. So around and above us is obviously 39.50, which we're at and around, 40.20, and basically $41. So okay, 15 minutes. Meta, look, 154, below 154. We can see Meta drop down to 150, 150. But we are still at support. So when should I buy Baba? I mean, I'm never going to tell you when to buy Baba. I'm the last guy to tell you to buy that stock. Yes, the auto divergence is insane. I will say, all right, PMI coming out right now. Oh shit.
Versus 57 in May.
Remember, Meta has also held a divergence from the Qs. Look at Google. If anybody's watching Google, this thing looks like it is about to drop to 220, 2211. I know there's some Google players in the chat. You can see where it's kind of bundled up. If the Qs have held their gap fill and held underneath the point of control. So at some point, buyers will get exhausted, and they should be able to push that down. But right now, it could be that the market is just waiting for Powell. So that is the only thing that we're waiting on at the moment. I'm waiting on at the moment, and
There's one on the way down at $7.40.
nope, nope, nope. I don't think it's smart to. I have Li Auto, but I don't have Meta. No, nothing on Meta yet until it opens up. So I got my I got my ass handed to me on Lee. So I mean, definitely wasn't fun. But has kept my eye. I've kept my eye on it, and then when I realized it was up 100%. I was like, this thing has to just go to the reload zone. It's going up to the top, and why? What reason? Is this stock up 100%? So UI services PMI for June 54.4 versus a 54.5 estimate, prior 55. Sheesh. So for those looking at Meta, obviously there's the play below 154. And I do think that a lot of people are going to be watching here. It could bounce. Why I say below 154? Because that's where I believe that it could bounce, fake people out, and move to the other side. But as far as contracts on Meta, to the downside, below 154, I got to hit that 150 strike for July 1st. So, and that thing actually is going to move pretty sweet. So.
FTC ordered probably is in listing out the fixed warranties by removing the legal terms. The probably favors it now.
Oh, dude. Look at that. And it gap filled. Clorox gap filled 137, 139, or 136.99. Don't stress out over nothing right there's no move right now. So if you feel stressed or something like that, just take a deep breath. There's nothing happening. No. Nobody in here is I'm day trading options. So if anybody in here in the TikTok is asking me whether they should buy or sell anything, I'm not your guy. Okay, I'm day trading. What I do doesn't matter to you, at least in the short term. So I mean, I'm not recommended that you buy anything if you're on TikTok, and especially if you're talking about equity and stuff like that. Yeah. Yep, mad shot. So just gonna wait it out. The price for Facebook below 154 is 151. I had a mark of 151.35. It certainly looks like it could get there. I do think that it can fake out at 154. It's close enough, but so far it's holding support really, really well. So there's nothing here. There's nothing here. All right. This would be a extremely low probability play at the moment until you see the Qs collapse. If the Qs collapse below 280, all right, we can talk shop. But yeah, you know what, Big Stepper? Yeah, no, don't donate. Don't donate your money to stock. Why? It's a, you know what? You'll get a better return from a wishing well. If you trade like that, you know. Okay. So as it moves to 154, you got to practice that emotional regulation, right? It needs to close a candle below 154 with some sort of volume in order for that to move. So I would rather watch and wait and then take a position. And again, 150s next week, I'm going to set my stop loss on this support. So basically 154.70. And with a good expiration, I should be able to trade this really pretty well. So let's see, what are we talking about? Thank you, CKB. Yeah, man, I lose a lot of, and that's the thing is I don't mind, but most people, and I get it, but most people just want just give me the play, shut up, don't talk about all the weird stuff, and I'm gonna talk about the weird stuff. What was that? Kind of bouncy. All right, come on. It does not want to lose this level, y'all. The Qs are fighting.
Phoenix Motor, there's retweeting now $7.54 off the Echo Victor.
Oh shit. We could see the Qs down to 276 today if we do dump. Don't let Powell say some. Yeah, he better not slip up. Better say something pretty. So, right, I would say, yeah, don't short anything until we lose 280. Just no. And look at how dumb these candles are. Why would you trade these? Put your money into something that's gonna move. Except for Liotto. Don't. Liotto's dumb. How do I use the economic calendar to make decisions? I love that question. So I basically use it to forecast sentiment, right? Like, how are people going to respond? Like, how is it, like, especially, and that's the thing is the market it's always case by case. So if Powell's talking, and we've already been beaten to hell and, data gets far more intense, then certain events are going to spark fear, right? Or certain if another, and obviously there's just like the cold hard facts of like, okay, well, if this data's bad, the stock market's not going to respond very well. Which the numbers are always a little whatever. But the economic calendar is going to allow me to forecast sentiment, figure out what type of events are going to potentially cause a lack of volatility or volatility, and where are we at on the chart, and how can that play out from there. So like I almost try and like build the projections in my mind, and I don't know, it's like I'm always like my biggest like opponent when it comes to like my own thesis is like or my own charts. Like I do try and like out chart myself or like prove myself wrong. And so when I'm able to feel the sentiment or feel the market out, I'm looking at like, okay, how are people how has the market moved up until now? Where are we at on the chart? And how can this data affect us? So for example, QQQ, being where it's at, obviously, just to make it cut and dry, if Powell starts to deliver weakness, then obviously I can still look at 280 as a technical level, but he's the fuel for the fire, right? And I can wait until he's done speaking, and then that's kind of like a nail in the coffin. Where a lot of people in the meantime are like, trying to trade the chop or whatever, but which of course you're scalping. But right now there's nothing. And knowing that Powell was going to talk has done what? Kept me from getting into anything except for Lee Auto, which is not running with the Qs and is my own little short theory. That's my own thing, right? Just on a technical level, this thing, is getting close enough to 40 on 100% run since May. So that's a little bit more clear and definitive for me, whereas Meta, not so much. Meta is holding support like nobody's business at the moment. And it looks like it's about to go and retest that 155.75. So not trading is something that like is also, something you could be proud of. And again, we talked about this before, like right after the market closed, that we could see a quick little move, and then being so close to support, we could just end up chopping around. So let's, and a lot of people, I think there's a like, not that people feel insulted, but sometimes newer traders will take it personally or feel like it's them who's unable to see a play. Why can't I, like, or that just turns into like frustration. I'm like, why is this thing not moving? But that's usually because you're already in something that you shouldn't be. So take a look at the cues. Look at that. Look at resistance. That's 284.58. For Facebook, 156.83. Damn, that's a big bounce. Okay. Again, 156.83.
Like that, it's associated with the full microbuilder control.
If the cues break to the upside, I have them going to around 292.25. For, however that happens, but I think they're definitely trying to soothe things right now. But again, I still have the megaphone here, okay, and the remainder of a gap fill to 288.70 as a closer target. So, oof, glad I'm on the sidelines. So, if like right here, unless you grabbed like something that expired next week, if you grabbed any weeklies right here, bam, 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 right? To pick the one candle that's gonna pop, like that's where like yeah, sorry, don't just wait for something like better, or grab an expiration that's obviously not gonna get eaten. Microsoft. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Man, um, yeah, dude, Microsoft. I had a feeling every time I stop looking at that thing. Oh yeah, that thing looks like it might get in. Oof, wow. So right at first, 250, 260, obviously is right above you. It looks like it literally is holding its break. It needs to literally just push above this 150, 257.25. Next target's 260.30. I've got the 200-day moving average at 261.56, which is right around where your resistance is. So this is your little range there. So Cave Bear, nice job, man. I can chart TSM in a little bit, not right now. I just need to continue to watch. A lot of people get lost in these 3-minute candles, but then remember, step out. Look, the 9-day moving average is right there. I don't know, but is he talking? Baba paid. Nice. To the upside? Absolutely nutty. Yeah, grab some food, sit down, and just watch this tiny little Tabasco thing. Oh my God, the ads. You have to. Never mind. Oh man, it's like my man ran into a pipe this morning. I really don't even, man, the more that I watch this, the more I'm like, what the?
SAPL says it will not continue plans to develop the Glenmore license and Norwegian North Sea as standalone gas field at San Antonio, Lima.
If your Lee Auto put is not the same expiration as mine, I would get out of it because you did it. I gotta explain this because I'm gonna tell you that what you're doing is wrong, and I gotta. It's a teaching moment. If you are taking a contract that is not the same as somebody else's, you are obviously your account size is lower, or your risk, you're still trading scared, and you're associating cheaper contracts with less risk when you're just giving little bits of money at a time or smaller chunks of money. So if you don't have that same core position, then you've got to come up with your own plan. I'm not in weekly contracts for a good reason because I'm not even looking at the contracts. I'm just watching the chart and I'm watching to see how it behaves around 40. That's it. Right now, it seems like it's holding underneath that 38, 39. I have it going for a gap fill all the way to 37, 31. And I told people that you could add weeklies when you see a definitive rejection. So, okay, fucking, that is now moving. That's what I get for talking. I can't understand. I can't hear her. You just, bro, Powell looks faded. Capital F. It sucks to come back and not be able to take a nice definitive trade, but you know what? Patience. We know we can make money. We just have to wait for the time.
year ago, signing into law a $2 trillion stimulus bill. What he did was sell ordinary Americans. We're now repaying all that quote unquote free money. Inflation is the worst it's been in 40 years. American families are rethinking their long awaited summer vacations because they can afford a $5 a gallon price pumps. Costs are spiraling out of control for everything from housing, food to airfare, cars, medical care, and clothing. Democrats are still on the hunt for the scapegoat. They blame oil companies, the war in Ukraine, supply chain issues in Asia. I'd like to get clear. It's the Democrat trillions in wasteful spending that resulted in higher grocery bills and soaring gas prices. President Biden continues to deny the so-called American Rescue Plan contributed to inflation, recently calling that idea, quote, bizarre. Well, economists across the ideological spectrum, former Clinton Treasury Secretary RBLX,
Look at the volume on Lee, y'all. That's money, dude. Oh, Colleen. Oh, yeah. Sounds like a Big Mac for breakfast. No, I'm eating biscuits and gravy right now.
No one central bank was prepared for prices rising at a typical 3%, with even core inflation rising, running at 6% now. Republicans have long been warned about the size of the Fed's balance sheet, that grew by nearly $1 trillion over the last 12 months. And now it seems the previous predictions by the markets committee about economic projections are wrong. They're altering course. Simply put, the Fed has its work cut out for it yet. Lastly, I want to address the left's ongoing efforts to expand the Fed's ruling mandate. Republicans have been on the record opposing this, and I hope that the skyrocketing inflation unleashed under the Biden administration puts an end to these discussions. The Fed should be focused on price stability. That should be their single-minded focus.
I hate such definitive blanket statements like those.
Mission that American families are struggling to feed themselves with work. The Fed is a serious place.
Why are you trimming off the leaves when the entire branch is infected?
This was true before inflation broke out. It's more obvious today. I hope that
I'm not watching Lee on any other time frame but the hourly.
Thank you for openness and what has been a more closed off institution. We have messaging. And we know that you're taking your job seriously. I'm glad you're taking your job seriously. And with that, Chair, I go back.
Thank you. Thank you for the record. The Lord recognized the subcommittee on national security, international development, and monetary policy. We just listened to Mr. Klein.
The why. I'm gonna get the long range. I can't. I got kids, so you know I can't. I can't do the 3. So
I think at the moment it's quite as important as Americans watch the economy collapse around their ears and the jobs and assets being lost. There is a very real possibility that Americans will be caught in a vice, economic vice, not of their own making.
dude, do I have a filter on?
And the possibility, much contemplated by economists, of a recession. Simply put,
That's weird.
one of the last members of Congress to get out of the chamber when it was under attack on January 6, 2021, I don't believe that our democracy can sustain either runaway inflation or another recession. Despite the rhetoric you'll hear all day today here, there's not a lot that you can or will do. Much of this rests on your shoulders. So Chairman Powell, I just asked that as you make your decisions, think not just of the numbers and economics, but of the importance of sustaining this nation's democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. I now recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee on national security, international development, and monetary policy.
Yeah, I don't want to go that fast. Yeah, yo, that's not even a sad face filter. I didn't put a filter.
At the same time, it's important to remember the following. Just last year, Democrats were ignoring inflation warnings to pass a $2 trillion stimulus bill. They were pushing the Fed to solve.
No, I think it's just the way the camera's angled. Here's what I think can happen from here. I hate watching this shit. I hate it. It just reminds me how stupid all of it is. I mean, none of these people get anything done. It's all just for fucking money, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can't arrest them, like, you know, everybody, and that's because we argue. That's because people like to cherry pick, like, you know, like, who cares who the overlord is, man? Like, it's us who needs to have the power. We don't need to be trying to give our passion and our power to one individual who is a human being. I know some people want to believe that they're just like exceptionally perfect politicians, but I just don't see that as a realistic thing. I don't know. But yeah, it is political, dude. Like, shut up. I just wish they would just shut up and talk about the problems. But the Republicans and then the liberals and then the. I'm like, dude, come on, man. That's so that we argue. That's so that we go back and forth about how we feel about it. And the lack of power that we feel probably drives the frustration that we feel, included with the fact that the majority of the Americans are living under, you know, poverty or on the poverty line, have no money in their savings account. Everybody's working all motherfucking day, excuse my language, but or two jobs, hustle culture, which then obviously we don't do a whole lot of talking after that. But anyway, let's listen to Pal. Too political. It does. It does. I don't care what any of y'all believe. Like as far as like if you're, you know, live like I just look at you as a person, like that's it. You know, I really do. Like I don't even political ideologies don't mean much to me at all. Like I care about people. I don't care about politics at all. Like it's just like a definitive thing. It is dumb. And I'd love for somebody to tell me how it isn't. And until that happens, it's dumb, and I'm just going to continue to be kind to people within reason. I'm just kidding. He looks like a vampire. I don't know. Do I have a face filter on this man? No, look. It's the angle. Oh, I do have the sad filter. Dude, I have the sad face filter on right now on TikTok. And Pal looks like he's crying his eyes out.
Financial conditions that we have seen in this months should continue to temper growth, help bring better balances.
Pointed at my face.
The labor market has remained extremely tight. Employment rate near 50 low, job vacancies at historic highs.
Why will the market move?
Down from the average pace earlier year, but still robust. For workers at the lower end of the wage distribution, as well as for African Americans.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and price stability for the American people. It's in my review. High inflation.
Did he just say our partners and my colleagues and I are a cutie? Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I should have done that. Yeah, I think some filter requested.
On that low price stock, YVR,
2%, and an extremely tight labor market. We raised the target rate for the federal funds rate in each of our past 3 meetings, resulting in a 1.5% increase in the target rate so far this year. The committee reiterated that it
EU Commission spokesperson says EU energy member states and energy ministers will on Monday discuss possible measures, including to reduce gas demand, to prepare a further supply issue.
reflecting both policy actions that we have already taken and anticipated actions. Over the coming months,
There it is.
compelling evidence that inflation is moving down, consistent with inflation returning to 2%. We anticipate from ongoing rate increases. Case of those changes.
DHAT, Blue Hampshire's up in the air again.
For the Alcohol Hotel at the Tango, we make our decisions meeting by meeting. We will continue to communicate.
Accurate. The most accurate.
Overarching focus. Making appropriate monetary
Screenshot that and put it holy cannoli.
Inflation has obviously surprised to the upside over the past year. Further surprises could be in store.
Further surprises could be in store.
Avoiding AI certainty, but it's already extraordinarily highly attentive to inflation risks, determined to take the measures necessary to restore price level. The American economy is very strong and well positioned to handle.
Someone screen record that. Holy cannoli, Kenny. Screen record that for me. Send me the video. Whoever.
We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve maximum employment price stability goals. Look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Chairman Powell. Chair Powell, at your Senate confirmation hearing, you were asked about the possibility that inflation is being driven by corporations and concentrated sectors of the economy. You said, and I quote, that could be right. It could also just be though the demand is incredibly strong and that, they're raising prices because they can, quote unquote. We're all seeing and feeling the effects of inflation on consumer pocketbooks.
She's about to incinerate, dude.
Profit margins are not hurting. In 2021, the profit
Leonard
margin
W. Wakefield,
S&P 500 index surplus
52-week,
the highest profit margin
W.
on record, and it is expected to be even higher in 2020. Corporate greed and consolidation.
Don't you speak, lady. Oh my God. The hypocrisy.
This last quarter, Tyson
And E. Noble Cornwall Reviews, November Echo.
pounds of meat sold in the United States claim that their higher prices are due to rising labor and freight costs. Yet they still managed to net an additional $500 million in fraudulent profits. When it comes to
See, they help make things happen and then argue about them later. They're so dumb.
to really press rents on renewals because the country is highly occupied. And so
ATTA,
going to go.
Kilo Tango Alpha, passenger.
Tremendous opportunity to press both on renewing leases for existing.
Dude, I have a feeling I have a feeling they're gonna shoot this thing up. I still do, y'all. Damn near about to take look, hourly candle close. We got 6 minutes for this hourly candle to close.
Could you elaborate on the role that corporations play in setting prices and how that is affecting inflationary pressures today? Would you also
Make sure to tag your screen if you guys are enjoying the underworld.
perhaps corporations are raising prices, quote, because they can?
Sure. So, matters of concentration in the economy uh, represent a series of interesting.
There you go.
questions
Screen record that.
largely not settled.
Or Holy.
One thing, it is clear that our economy has become
What's up, William?
concentrated largely due to lower levels of formation of smaller businesses. That has happened. It is not at all clear that there's a connection between a more concentrated economy and, for example, inflation. And of course, matters of corporate concentration are outside that.
I'm gonna post this on the TikTok. So
Really, those are for the competition authorities and really not for us to discuss. In terms of why prices are going up, I think a lot of it has been a lot of the places where prices have gone quite a bit in situations where supply is constrained and demand is very strong. And so take cars, for example. Demand for cars went up a great deal during the pandemic. People wanted to ride in cars rather than public transportation. They wanted to move to the suburbs and things like that. Rates were low. The economy was stronger than people expected. But the companies couldn't really make more cars because they couldn't raise their output because of the lack of semiconductors. So when demand hits fixed supply, what happens is prices go up and margins went up. And so I think as the economy returns to normal, we would expect those profit margins to return to more normal levels.
Well, Chairman Powell, the example that I gave of Tyson, who said their prices were rising because of labor and freight costs, and yet they managed to net an additional $500,000,000 quarterly profits.
I apologize. I'm having a hard time hearing your words. I'm sorry.
yeah, you know what? That was yes.
The example that I gave of Tyson Foods, and the fact that they said that their prices were rising due to labor and freight costs, yet they managed to net an additional $500,000,000 in quarterly profits. How do you explain that?
I'm not familiar with their profit and loss statement, but I will say, and again, there may be particular industries where there are competition issues. I don't know that. It's really not our focus or our authority.
Well, do you have the opportunity to look at rising costs and identify corporations where they are gaining substantial profits, yet they keep raising their prices? Do you have a way of examining that?
I think we can see that, but I think our job is to keep maximum employment and price stability. So we're not in the business of regulating individual companies or determining whether their actions, for example, are anti-competitive or that sort of thing. That's more for elected people and also for the competition authorities. So we do look at that, but again, I think a great deal of the price increases that you saw were a matter of supply being unable to meet demand, and the result was prices moving up. In many cases, that was the story.
Thank you very much. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, who is a
All right,
member of
guys.
the I recognize.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I would.
I'm just gonna watch. All right, so if you're waiting for a trade, probably not gonna take anything.
Commend to the committee Secretary Yellen's statement where she rejects the idea of corporate greed is to blame for inflation, and I concur. Um, we have a complex set of issues. The fiscal house was certainly different than monetary policy. The extraordinary nature of the partisan American Rescue Plan, the $2 trillion injected into a recovering economy, and Democrat policies to keep people out of the workforce for longer than the rest of the Western world also contributed to inflation. So that is a political debate here on Capitol Hill, Chairman Powell, and that is on the political side. What I want to ask you about are the policy tools that you are using. Now, certainly, you, as chair of the Fed and the Open Markets Committee, took extraordinary measures in the midst of the pandemic to ensure that we didn't have further contagion, and including the extraordinary lending facilities, purchasing securities, keeping the total funds rate at zero. These were the right tools at the right time. On the fiscal side, you had to partner with bipartisan bills to keep our economy afloat during government shutdowns. But like all good firefighting measures, we should put them away when times change. I want to talk to you as you put these measures away how you expect the economy to respond. So let's start here. What is your level of commitment to fight inflation?
Well, so it's unconditional. Our commitment is, and the reason is that we need to, in a particular situation, we have a labor market that's sort of unsustainably high. We're very far from our inflation target. We really need to restore price stability, get inflation back down to 2%. Because without that, we're not going to be able to have a sustained period of maximum employment where the benefits are spread very widely and where people's wages aren't being eaten up by inflation. Really, it's something that we need to do, we must do in order to have that kind of a labor market. We'll need to.
So as you pull back these emergency measures from COVID and you normalize rates to what they look like sort of in the long run, how do you expect the economy to respond?
So when we raise interest rates and also to a lesser extent when the balance sheet shrinks, what happens is rates go up across the economy and financial conditions generally tighten. And you can think of it as in interest-sensitive spending is an important place that'll be affected, and that's things like automobiles and other durable goods. If rates are higher, then demand for cars will moderate, will decline a bit. The second channel would be asset prices generally. We don't target any particular asset prices, but higher interest rates tend to bring them down broadly. That tends to mean a little bit less spending out of because people's wealth has perhaps declined a little bit. And the third channel could be also
Just a little bit.
that also has disinflation effects. So overall, we have these effects on the economy. Our intent, of course, is to bring inflation down to 2% while preserving a strong labor market. As I've mentioned, that has become significantly more challenging with the events of the past few months, particularly the war, which is driving gas prices up and raising energy prices and also food prices and disrupting supply chains further.
So at the same time, you have a massive balance sheet. First begin with mortgage-backed securities. As we have a roll-off of the Fed's balance sheet of mortgage-backed securities, what are expectations for how that affects housing?
So I think what will affect housing is the housing industry and market are slowing down from very, very high pace. And that's partially because of higher mortgage rates. The effects of shrinking the balance sheet will be marginal compared to the effects that we're seeing and expect to continue to see from rates, rising mortgage rates.
What are your expectations and any further announcements? Can we expect further announcements on the assets you hold, the securities you hold? Or are there going to be balance sheet announcements in the coming weeks?
No, so I would say this: we have a plan. We've articulated it. The markets are forward-looking. They see it. And the markets are in a good place. I think understanding what we're going to do. That's
What are you talking about, dudes?
securities to mature.
You want a liquidity pump, don't you?
That we said
You're gonna send this shit to 290.
95 billion. Yes, September now. It's about half of that. So that's what we've done, and we expect. The idea is that that'll just be on an ongoing basis in the background. We think the markets can handle that. Treasury issuance is way down, so we think there will be demand for these securities. The Treasury will then reissue them in whatever form they think is appropriate when it looks to Treasuries. So,
Thank you.
The gentleman from New York, Mr. Meeks, who is also the chair of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Chair, it's good to see you. And I know you'll hear a lot of probably political stuff going back and forth. The American public is trying to understand the language of which we're talking today so that we can really understand what inflation is. Fact of the matter is, I just recently was over in Europe. There's inflation in Europe, just like there's inflation here. Although, as I talked to Christine Lagarde and others, they say the cause of the inflation may be different. So if the causes are different, they said that maybe demand here, but
No change for me here,
there's
guys.
demand there.
No, I didn't actually get them on all, man. The price, so the price actually is not agreeable for me, man.
Gas, $15 a gallon. Turkey, 80% inflation rate. Gas, $13 a gallon. And I could name places in Europe from Europe to the United States. Is it that we had, whether it was the supply chains, the China shutdown, the complete shutdown, the zero COVID policy,
Yeah, man.
Russia's war in Ukraine.
I'm adding some alerts on the meta right now, so that way I'll get alerts to my phone.
Thing is what contributes to inflation and causes it all over the world.
Pretty much. That's pretty.
It's a little bit of everything, right? So if I'm talking to my constituents, trying to explain to them what inflation is and what causes it, I would not single out any one thing. I would probably have to talk about the conglomerate of things, because if you take away 2 or 3 of those, we might not be in the situation here. All of it unprecedented, all of it really out of the control of anyone, out of control of Democrats, out of control of Republicans, out of control of the president, out of control of other governments. Is that not correct?
Some of it is out of our control. For example, the price of oil and most of the price of food. And to your point, Europe has much more. It's much more about energy and food prices. Very difficult problems, and also they of course have the European Central Bank has different countries, which and so they have to worry about the difference, the spreads between different countries, and that's a different challenge that we don't have here. We have the difference here for us is we actually have a very strong economy and well-recovered economy, and so more of our inflation is from demand, and we do have tools to deal with demand. That is the place where we actually can work, and that's what we're using our tools.
And some of that was because during the crises that we had to do certain things, stimulus and other things to make sure that we kept our economy stable. I mean, without doing those things, we would have been in trouble. So things that we did going through COVID, stimulus, trying to make sure people kept their jobs, kept money coming in at the time, was what we had to do. Otherwise, we would have been in worse shape or not had a strong economy as we have
124
compared to other countries. Is that not correct?
Yes, I would say this way that
How dare you, holy cannoli,
very
misinform him.
Art driven by supply by what Congress.
Oh my God.
But also,
But that helped stabilize our economy at that time, right?
it did.
And if we did not do those things, our economy may not be as strong as it is right now.
But it's not strong. Dang it.
I think that's right.
Correct.
Our economy is strong.
And let me jump to something else.
Wow,
quick, because
looks
one of the things, I know
faded.
what concerned my constituents that I talked to was the question about can we resolve inflation without increasing unemployment? Because our folks are concerned about losing their jobs and not being able to, it'd be worse if they were unemployed. So my question to you is, can you speak to what the Fed has seen during the last few years with respect to the relationship between unemployment and inflation? And is it possible that we can continue to have a strong labor market while also curbing inflation?
It's certainly possible that we can. And there is a relationship between unemployment and inflation. The challenge now is that inflation is at a 4-decade high.
This sucks. This is boring.
Dealt with on global markets, that kind of thing. We can't affect those, but the challenge is.
All right, I'm gonna go eat
Monetary policy.
because again, unfortunately the grits and biscuits and gravy were ass.
My side a chance to catch up and here.
I'm gonna have to go fix that.
That's what we're trying to do. We don't have precision.
Oh, I can't wait. I have to go shopping. I lost. It wasn't even worth mentioning, but so I think some people, and I'm only telling you guys this because I think there's a lot of people in the Discord who told me about my Samsung fridge. And if you have a Samsung fridge, you probably can hear it in my voice. The freezer broke while I was gone, and I lost about $400 worth of groceries.
The gentlewoman from Missouri,
Gang.
she's Wagner, is never recognized the Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Chair Powell, thank you for joining us again today. I just want to start by saying how sick and tired I am of the president's inflation blame game.
Miss Wagner looks like a teacher I had in elementary school.
Perhaps it's corporate greed.
Yeah.
Now we're blaming other
Oh yeah, it's
countries
just going.
like Estonia, Turkey, Europe. I give you my avid assurance that no one in Missouri's second congressional district gives a rip what the price of gas and groceries are in Europe. They care about what they are at the corner of Manchester Road and Weidman. No one in this administration is willing to accept responsibility for the dismal economic situation America is in today.
Damn, what's Wagner?
Inflation, sir, more than tripled
You
in
single?
2021,
Sorry.
from 1.4 to 7%. And from June to the end of September 2021, inflation hovered, I think, around 5.4%, and then began a steady increase until reaching an historic 8.6%. That is now crippling Americans' spending power today. Chair Powell, when inflation remains steady at 5.4% during that
So there's a lot of people breaking into our Discord, and honestly, Kenneth, I should probably get like maybe I should make that a job, find somebody, but um, I I have a way of getting underneath these people's skin, and I have gone like back and forth with some of these people who have broken into our Discord and started, DMing us and trying to scam people. So I've gotten it now to the point where like they're like it's like a vendetta. It's like some of them have literally been like try and stop me, or they'll go on like these 100 comment sprees on my TikTok, and I just kind of like antagonize it because like I'll just be like they'll literally comment it, and right as they start commenting I'll go to the first comment and I'll be like, go look back at all of your hard work, and it'll be all gone, and I'll just leave that one comment I responded to. So all right, meta is moving to the upside. Qs are at resistance. 285.50. I don't like anything.
inflation, what do you think you missed?
Well, we did underestimate it. With the benefit of hindsight, clearly we did. But it comes down to this judgment we're making. It has really nothing to do with our framework or anything like that. It was, and every central bank made the same judgment, which was looking at supply chain problems.
Yeah, I see. Here comes Lee 40.
Millions of
There's no. And then 500 HMA 158.
very high levels of labor force participation. Suddenly they're much lower. The thought was people will come back as soon as COVID is over. We have these new vaccines that every American's vaccinated. We'll be done with COVID by the end of the year. So basically, these supply side issues or these just didn't get better. They're recurring waves. That was the judgment we had to make. We knew it could be wrong. I think when it starts to look pretty wrong, we put it to 10.
President Biden continues
7 months ago.
President Biden continues to say that a recession is not inevitable. Asking his government agencies and Dems in Congress continue to spend billions and trillions of taxpayer dollars, burden businesses with costly rules and regulations, and on top of the president.
If you're in something on Meta, is anybody in calls?
The president's policy continues.
If you're in something that's Gucci, I support you. But if you're not already in, there's 158.80. So I'm not going to get in for an 80-cent move unless you're anticipating a break to the upside. Which, listen, this shit.
He also threatens tax increases and promises to cancel billions of debt. How can you still say, sir, that the Fed has a pathway to a soft landing?
It's good.
For the economy?
It's good to go.
Well, that's our intention is to achieve inflation getting back to 2%. And
with all I've laid out.
Strong labor market. I'm sorry?
With all I've laid out. And the increases you're going to have to take.
So as I mentioned, I think that path has gotten more and more challenging thanks to the effects on oil prices and food prices, really, and also the supply chains from the war.
All right.
Never said
Nice. Yeah, I need to go up to the hourly. Let's see what we got.
I appreciate the chair's indulgence. I will go back, bounce for a time. Thank you, Chairman Powell.
The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Grimm, is also the chair of the subcommittee on open.
Yeah. Are you long? Upside?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here, Chair Powell. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to have a few thoughts, share some thoughts. In February of 2021, you indicated
Yeah.
millions of
Well, plenty of time to take a position for the 162.75s, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a break really quick. I'm gonna mute. I'll leave the stream up playing on the Discord, but yeah, I see Lee's literally tapping 40 right now.
to help those who were unemployed. The inflation
I gotta get to some
has to do with unemployment. Help that we gave
EMs here in a little bit, and I got to go. Stop loss for Lee is basically I would anywhere above 40, 33 candle close. I'm gonna cut it and then roll out to a shorter or a longer expiration. So, but that will likely happen at some point today. So, this is me played. Please do not play my trades. Nice. Apple. Yeah. I got alert set. I gotta go fill out some paperwork over at this doctor's office, so I'll leave the stream up, but there's gotta be some news coming out with Lee, right? Nothing.
child care. If you want people to go to work, schools are closed.
All right, y'all. I'll be back. Those of you on the Discord, TikTok, I'll alert on my Twitter and my Discord when I go live again.